मुझे बड़ी खुशी हो रही है, मुझे बड़ा गर्व महसूस हो रहा है कि आज हम हैं जनाब शम्मी कपूर साहब के घर में और हमारे साथ इस वक्त शम्मी कपूर साहब खुद हैं। शम्मी जी, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका। सबसे पहले तो let me thank you for the fact that you allowed us to interview you here in your house, allowed us to turn your house upside down. Thank you so much. You've displayed such remarkable patience. Amazing. I would never have expected, that you would allow us to move your furniture to one side and do all that stuff.
As long as you put it back.
That we promise, sir. That we promise. You are a man who started off on the internet here much, much before anyone even knew about it, Hindustan mein. How did you get interested in the World Wide Web?
I was very fortunate. I got onto the computers rather late in life, of course, but I did. This was sometime in 88 after my brother died. Raji ka देहांत होने के बाद 88 में एंड उनकी बेटी आई थी यहाँ पे रितु फ्रॉम दिल्ली। वो कुछ हिसाब किताब RK में ये लोग सब बैठे थे और मेरा रोज़ वहाँ आना जाना होता था। आई यूज्ड टू सी हर ऑन अ लिटिल पीस ऑफ वाइट स्क्रीन, बैठे कुछ हिसाब किताब कर रही हैं। You should remember that computers were not available for home appliances in those days, and she being from the corporate world, she had her own computer, and so one fine day she just made me sit in front of it and said, "Uncle, have a look at it, see what's this all about." And that's my first experience with a computer. आप यकीन कीजिएगा, I was so taken up with this technology that I'd never seen it before.
तो सबसे पहली बार आपने कंप्यूटर देखा, PC देखा ऋतु नंदा जी के हाथ में।
Yes.
आपकी भतीजी।
Yes, 1988. और उसके वहाँ से बस ये फिसूर दिमाग में था कि आई मस्ट गेट अ पीस लाइक दिस, आई वांट टू नो व्हाट इट्स ऑल अबाउट। और इत्तेफाक से हम लंदन जा रहे थे, शशि कपूर में छोटे भाई की पिक्चर थी अजूबा
जी,
उसकी शूटिंग के लिए।
अमिताभ जी जिसमें से।
यस, आई वाज गोइंग टू मॉस्को फॉर दैट एंड वी स्टॉप्ड इन लंदन, माय वाइफ एंड आई, एंड व्हाइल शी वाज शॉपिंग एट हैरिड्स, आई वाज इन अ लिटिल शॉप ऑपोजिट हैरिड्स ऑन नाइट्स ब्रिज। देयर वाज एन एप्पल कंप्यूटर शॉप। मैं वहाँ बैठकर सारा दिन वहाँ बैठकर देखा कि दिस इज व्हाट अ कंप्यूटर इज, दैट्स व्हाट इट्स ऑल अबाउट। एंड बिलीव मी, आई बॉट सॉफ्टवेयर बिफोर आई हैड हार्डवेयर। वहाँ से आई पिक्ड अप अ फ्यू diskettes of software, Excel.
Yes. Which was the first one that you picked up?
I picked up Excel and MacWrite and Pixel Paint, graphic paint. I picked these up. Then I came to Bombay when I came back from my shooting, and I bought my first Mac 2. I'm a Macintosh man.
Actually, first bought your Apple Mac 2.
This shouldn't sound like an Apple ad, but I am an Apple man, yes. And I went places from there, and I taught myself everything. And in 1991, when Apple offered us an e-world site on the net, you'll be surprised that यहाँ Bombay में through BSNL, British Telecom was giving Apple subscribers a line, which even BSNL was not aware about. And we were just the 2-3 people over here who were on the net. We joined eWorld. We subscribed to it, and it was available only through Macintosh. And इसलिए before it came to India, I was very fortunate to have experienced it. In
1991 में ब्रिटिश टेलीकॉम ने आपको एक लाइन दे दी BSNL के द्वारा, और शायद BSNL को भी उसके बारे में तवज्जो नहीं थी या मालूम नहीं था, और वर्ल्ड के आप सब्सक्राइबर थे उस वक्त 1991 में। जब इंटरनेट के बारे में कोई खास जानकारी यहाँ पर नहीं थी, किसी को मालूम तक नहीं था। And you used to chat, you used to go.
Yes, we used to chat. As a matter of fact, हम लोगों ने तब एक वहाँ पे they used to have conference rooms, and we used to have a conference room set up for Bharatwashis, all जो Indians staying abroad there in New York basically and America. तो उनके लिए उस टाइम के मुताबिक every Thursday at 7 o'clock we used to meet. हमारे यहाँ शाम के 7 बजे, उनके वहाँ सुबह 10 बजे होता था. And we used to meet and discuss various aspects and what's it all about. And it was like a small little village, this E-world. They had a post office, they had a library, and you could email to your friends. This is how basic concept of email. That's how I got to know about it. And it was great fun.
Amazing. And you still are on an Apple. We just saw you working on a Mac even now.
Yes. Apple has been nice to me, yes.
You've never used Windows?
No, I don't know how to. I have never learned the C language and COBOL and all that. My grandchildren do it all the time. My grandson is in Houston studying computer science, as a matter of fact, on the PC. But not me. I'm happy with my Apple.
You've kept it simple?
Yes.
Just like the rest of your life. Is that what you've done with your life as well?
Is my
You've
life
only
simple?
you've only stuck to stuff which you found a degree of comfort with. Is that what you've done?
That's what life is about, I suppose. Yes.
I mean, you were comfortable acting, you were comfortable playing the hero. That's why you became a star. Later, of course, but that's why you became an actor.
You know, before I became an actor, I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer. Look at the number of air crashes we would have had if I had become an aeronautical engineer. But that was बड़ी ख्वाहिश थी तब, क्योंकि मैं school जब पास हुआ, metric पास हुआ, and I went to college and I took up science. I thought I was going to go great guns. यहाँ से खत्म करके अपने science और take up engineering and फिर aeronautical engineering के लिए फिर go to Canada वगैरह. बड़े ख्वाब देखे थे. वो
रुया कॉलेज में थे आप?
जी हाँ, रुया कॉलेज में था मैं.
और न्यू एरा स्कूल से आपने
मैट्रिक पास की थी. जी
हाँ. उस जमाने में मैट्रिक हुआ करती थी.
जी.
So why didn't you become an aeronautical engineer?
मैं समझता हूँ पहले साल ही कॉलेज में वो सारे ख्वाब मेरे उड़ गए. It wasn't all that easy and it wasn't all that fun. Basically, fun is what life is about, I suppose. Or while I used to attend my college for the practicals, सुबह 6 बजे जाओ, practicals attend करो, sports वगैरह भी. But for the classes, उसके बाद I used to hand over my books to some friends of mine कि आप notes लिखते रहना. और मैं वहाँ से चला. I used to come to St. Xavier's क्योंकि वहाँ कैंटीन में मेरा अकाउंट था. Plus most of my friends from my New Era school were in St. Xavier's. They were in Elphinstone College. They all stayed this side. I was in Matunga. So after some time in college, I found out that I was pretty bored with my college. I suppose college was pretty bored with me also. So I moved out. I found it wasn't all that. I came up to my father and asked him for a job in the theatre, which he had offered me to start with, and I said no then.
Because you wanted to be an aeronautical
engineer. He said, I told you, come. So I joined my father's theatre at the age of, I was 18 and a half. At 50 rupees a month.
50 rupees a month.
Yes.
You joined Prithvi Theatres.
That's right.
And what did you do at Prithvi Theatres?
I played walk-on roles as an extra junior artist. Eventually, gradually got some speaking roles in Pathan and Diwar, my father's plays. And eventually I took on the roles which were done by Raj Kapoor, my brother. And after he left the theatre, I took on those roles. They were the starring roles. When I left theatre, I had played all those roles.
Any particular role that you would like to tell us about, which you would still perhaps like to replay, or maybe still replay in your mind?
Pathan was superb.
But that was your father's
My
forte.
father's, yes, but the role of Bahadur Khan, the son, was a great role. A boy who was full of fun and life, and eventually had to sacrifice his life for his father's principles. And I enjoyed doing that. Eventually my father wrote a role for me in Kalakar. And that's the play in which Mahesh Kaul Sahab saw me, as a matter of fact, and he liked me immensely. And he offered me Jeevan Jyoti, which was my first
Jeevan
picture.
Jyoti, which was your first film.
My first picture.
And Chand Usmani was your heroine.
She was my heroine.
And is that when you bought your first car, or was that later?
No, that was when I. How do you know all that?
When you bought your first car at that?
Yes, I did.
It was a Buick, right?
It was a Buick convertible, yes.
And used to belong to Nigar Sultana.
That's, how do you know all? Yes, yes, it belonged to Nigar Sultana, and it was a fabulous car. BMW 3009.
3009.
Yes.
Wonderful. And was that car used in any movie? किसी पिक्चर में उस कार का इस्तेमाल हुआ कि नहीं?
Not that I'm aware.
But that was the era of convertibles, right? People
Yes.
wanted to use convertibles at that time. And what was it like driving? That was a great car,
It's
great horsepower.
fun. It was, I mean, the powerful cars, the big cars.
Now tell me something. This is something which I've always wanted to ask you. Ever since I came to know that you actually bought a car which was used by Nigar Sultana. हमारे दर्शकों को याद होगा कि जहाँ पे निगार जी का प्रश्न है, वो she used to play all these lovely courtesan roles and all that. You know, मेरे पिया गए रंगून, and उसके बाद माशाल्लाह मुगले आजम में
Yes.
जी बहार का रोल उन्होंने प्ले किया
Yes,
था. What was a girl like that doing with a car like that? I mean, that's what I'd like to know.
I wouldn't know because I never met her then. I bought the car on my own. I found it in Car Mart. यहाँ यूं जिस रोड पे एक सेकंड हैंड कार की बहुत बड़ी दुकान हुआ करती थी.
चूनावाला साहब की.
Chunawala. That's my
जी.
God. You know a lot of things. You've done your homework all right. And I went there with my producer Aspi Irani, and I had asked him, I want to buy a car. So he said he'd help me. So I went and I selected this car. Out of all the cars, there were a number of cars over there, and there was this beautiful blue, light blue Buick convertible, and I bought it.
And Aspi Irani paid the down payment.
We made the down payment of about 5,000 or so, and the rest I paid for 2 years or 3 years. I don't know. It took me a lifetime paying the installments on a hire purchase. My God, but it was worth it.
And you've always loved cars, isn't that right?
Yes, I have.
So which was your second car? Which was the car that you bought after that?
After that, I had a DeSoto, and then I had a Chevrolet Bel Air, then I had an Impala. In between, I bought a couple of Jeeps. I was very fond of Jeeps, and I used to go for shikars.
The Jeep that you bought, now I was reading somewhere, the first Jeep that you bought, you called it Dinky. Why did you call it Dinky?
I had a pet dog we used to call Dinky when I was young in Matunga. I suppose I loved him very much, and I remember that dog. It was, I suppose, a little fashionable to call it car or something. I named it Dinky. Yes, you're very correct. I called my first Jeep Dinky. My second Jeep was Yahoo.
And we all know what Yahoo is, of course. And we're not talking about the search engine here, we're talking about Mr. Yahoo himself. How did that Yahoo thing come about? Your Yahoo?
It was just an expression of exuberance, an expression of joy, an expression of
Yahoo.
Yes, it was all that.
And your director didn't object, right? He said, okay, go ahead with it.
No, he didn't. As a matter of fact, he liked the expression basically. I did that for the first time in Tumsa Nahi Dekha, before that Sar Pe Topi Lal song. I come chasing the girl, and then I do that, and there's a bhangra after that. I did the same thing in Dil De Ke Dekho, with the same type of situation. I was chasing the girl again there, and I did Yahoo, and I did a bhangra number after that.
You chased a lot of girls on screen.
That was the right age to do that. And then those are the type of movies that I made, very simple movies. Boy chases girl, boy woos girl, and
girl chases boy.
Girl doesn't chase boy, but in the process of this chase business, boy sings about 8-10 songs, and he wins over girl, and eventually, and there's a villain that pops in. Pranji usually then came in, and he
Pranji with a wig.
Yes, and he took the girl away. And
different kinds of wigs.
Wonderful, and gold wig in Evening in Paris.
Gee, and we'll talk about Evening in Paris in just a moment. Now, talking of your early days and talking about Yahoo and all that, Shammi Kapoor ki jab bhi baat aati hai, yani janab, and I'm sorry, I'm talking about you in the third person as if you're not here. Shammi Kapoor ki jab bhi baat aati hai, O.P. Nayyar साहब की म्यूजिक की बात आती है, मोहम्मद रफ़ी की बात आती है, और अभी भी हर कोई ये मानता है, R.D. बर्मन की बात आती है, हर एक कोई ये मानता है कि रफ़ी साहब ने जो गाने आपके लिए गाए वो शायद और किसी के लिए नहीं गाए, और उस किस्म की क्वालिटी और उस किस्म की पॉपुलैरिटी कभी भी रफ़ी साहब को नहीं मिली किसी और गाने से।
I don't agree with you in every aspect, because Rafi Saab was very, very popular even otherwise, and he sang some wonderful numbers for everybody, I think. Yes, I was very fortunate. I don't know why. Rafi Saab did some great numbers for me. He sang beautiful songs for me. And I had a very beautiful relationship with him. It's one of those things. I loved him. He was a very fine human being. He loved me, gave me great respect, and you'd be surprised we used to sing together.
You used to sing?
Yes, I mean, I took up classical music when I was young, and then I've been very fond of music and singing. And at Rafi Saab's recordings, whenever we were there, after the recording was over, we sat down, and he always sat down with me, and we took the harmonium up and we sang together. Classical music.
You never recorded together, but
No.
isn't that sad?
No, I think those were very
nice.
private moments, and but I remember them with love.
But you actually took up classical music.
I did, yes. There was this music teacher. गुरुजी घर में रखे गए थे राजी के लिए, बेसिकली
जी।
राजी को बड़ा शौक था, लेकिन फिर उनके पास वक्त नहीं था, तो राजी के पास वक्त नहीं था, शमी बैठ जाओ तुम. So I used to sit down, and I was very fond of it. And gradually, it just so happened that I kept on to it, and for about 5-6 years, I learnt classical music from. And he was a very fine teacher. He taught music to a lot of people in the film industry also, Saigal Saab included.
What was his name, sir?
Pandit Rajendranath ji. And he was teaching Mukesh ji also. He taught Nutan also, and a very fine, beautiful Rajasthani style of classical music.
Do you still sing, sir, now and then?
At this age, yes, I try to, but...
Can we please have a close-up of Mr. Shami Kapoor? He talks about age. He still looks as though he's just about to get up and start swinging around trees even now. Which is and when you do sing a little bit, what is it that you actually sing?
No, I'm talking about singing then.
I'm talking about now.
Now I listen to music more. I still listen to classical music, a lot of classical music, and I listen to Hindi classical, I listen to English classical music, I listen
You listen to a lot of Western classical.
Western jazz, yes, and classical, and I love music, period.
And it all started with a red gramophone. Isn't that right? Which
Yes.
you bought from the HMB shop. Actually, you didn't buy it. Nargis ji bought it for you.
Yes. That was a long time back. I was very young. And you know why Nargis ji promised to give me a gramophone record player? Actually, she didn't agree to give me a record player. She promised to give me a kiss if she worked in Awara. They just finished Barsat and they were talking up terms and all that stuff, and there are a lot of problems that she was facing. And I happened to be one day at her shooting. I was in school at that time.
Barsat ki shooting.
Barsat ki shooting. I was just doing my metric, I think, at that time. And I was there in the makeup room, and she was very sad and all those little tear stuff. And I said, "What's wrong?" And she says, "I want to do this movie. I want to do Awara. And Shami, these people are not going to let me do it. I wish I could do it." So I had that little exuberance of a schoolboy. I said, "I'm sure you're going to do it. You'll get it definitely. I'll pray for you." And you know what she said? "Shami, if I get that picture, I'll give you a kiss." I said, "Fine, done, but you'll get it." It dissolved into, after a few months, I was in college. I go to RK Studios, she was shooting there. And she looked at me and she says, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm Shami Kapoor, the guy you promised you're going to give a kiss to. Remember me?" No way. She was running at me and I was running after her. I said, "That little kiss you promised me?" I said, "No, will a record player do? I said, done. And that's how we settled for a record player.
And she actually drove you out of the
She
studio?
sat in her car. She had a Riley, black and white Riley car. She sat in her car, told me, come sit. And we drove all the way from Chembur. We drove down over here to
HMV.
HMV is Firozshah Road or Churchgate Street or something there. And pick. I picked a red gramophone player. And she said, come. Made me sit in the car. We went to Rhythm House. Pick your 20 records. I picked up 20 records. My God, that
You
was...
picked up 20 78 RPM
20,
records.
yes, that's true. That's true.
And one of the records was an R.T. Shaw number, if I remember.
Yes, Jungle Drums. How do you...
Right.
My God. Yes, Jungle Drums. And Gypsy Love Song and Sibone and Feneshi. Rambas, yes.
Rumba, Samba, a lot of rumba and samba you picked up at that time. And that stayed with you all throughout, isn't it?
It did. Actually, that is the base of all my music training, which I think I went through after that. When I joined theatre, there was this little red box that traveled with me always. So where we performed at night, रात को 11-12 बजे शो खत्म होते, उसके बाद हम लोग जहाँ पे रह रहे थे, बड़ौदा हो, अहमदाबाद हो, जहाँ पे भी ठहरे हुए, रात को आए, नहाए धोए, खाना खाया, और टेरेस पे जाकर मैं अपना वो रेड बॉक्स साथ ले जाता था, and put the music on, and I had to dance to that music. I'm an 18-year-old, 19-year-old boy dancing to music, just dancing to music, wild, no inhibitions. And I had to give it an expression and give it different expressions. This went on for quite some time to different types of music, and I did this for quite some time. And that stayed with me. And one fine day when I needed that music, and I needed that expression, it came back.
It all came back.
It all came back.
And Tum Sa Nahi Dekha was your first huge hit.
That was the picture. That's the picture where I was able to establish a style. I got good music, good songs, a good story. I got a good character.
And Jungli was the first color film in which you acted.
And Jungli was the first picture.
But after Jungli, it must have been madness. आप जहाँ जाते थे, crowd इकट्ठा हो जाता था, अभी भी हो जाता है, लेकिन उस वक्त तो there was pandemonium wherever you used to go.
That was nice.
You were bigger than anything this country or the Indian diaspora had ever seen. You were really the first. As we were talking just before we started the interview, you could be called the Indian Elvis, without the songs, of course. But in terms of the persona, you were like huge. And everybody wanted to be Shammi Kapoor when they grew up, including a lot of people who are still acting and who retired. They still want to be Shammi Kapoor when they grow up. So, what is that like?
They're paying me some left-handed compliments, I suppose. It was nice.
Did choreographers ever come along to tell you, choreographers in movies?
I never had choreographers. I did my own, whatever I did. As I told you that all that helped me, it came back to me, and there was an expression for every type of song that I performed eventually. And I did it all in my own way.
Now, your real name is Shamsher Raj Kapoor, isn't that right?
That's right.
But Shammi Kapoor stayed with you.
Yes.
Now, जहाँ तक आपकी पॉपुलैरिटी का प्रश्न है, मतलब जो लोग आपकी तरफ देखते थे, अभी भी देखते हैं, you are possibly one of the very, very few individuals who has the same huge following among men as well as among women. How did that happen? That wild energy that you used to exude on screen, or what?
I never quite understood what was happening out there, but nevertheless it was a lot of love and respect, I suppose, for whatever I did, and it stayed. It showed also.
And everybody loved the fact that you were loving your work so much. I think that's what is the most important thing, because you were enjoying yourself so much. All of us enjoyed watching you enjoy yourself.
That's what I said. We made very simple, happy movies, and quite involved in it, totally.
Amongst all the girls that you worked with, you had so many of them. You worked with Rajshri, you worked with Asha Parekh ji, you worked with just about everybody. You even worked with Nutan. You were there in Shri Farhat also. I think you did a movie like that. Did you?
Laila Majnu.
Laila Majnu. I'm really sorry. Yes, you were there in Laila Majnu as well. Who were the girls who gave you the maximum amount of trouble?
No, I didn't have any trouble.
Nobody troubled you?
No, I don't have any trouble.
Never.
That's one of the reasons I worked with new girls all the time. They couldn't afford to give me trouble. I was working with, you gave me anybody I'd work with. As a matter of fact, even in Sumsana Dekha, I had Amita with me. As a matter of fact, she never started in the picture before that. In Dil Dekhi Dekho, I had Asha Parekh. There was Sarah Banu in Jangli. There was Kalpana in Professor. Ragini in Mujrim. There was Rajshri. Sharmila in Kashmir Ki Kali.
And Evening in Paris.
And Evening in Paris. So I had all new girls and new faces, and they were very fine performers, and they did a very good job of it. And they couldn't possibly make my life miserable. No.
Did you make their life miserable ever?
I don't think so.
You sure?
Yes.
You weren't a prankster on the set.
Being a prankster is fine, but you don't make life miserable for people.
You didn't make anyone
No,
cry.
made them happy, as a matter of fact. I think you would constantly keep them in laughs and in giggles, and you keep their mind you keep them from getting nervous, or you keep them from missing home too much. And they stay on sets.
Talking of home, you also got married to possibly one of the most talented actresses ever
Very
in
true.
Hollywood, the late Geeta Baliji. And not only one of the most talented, but possibly one of the most dedicated actresses. She was amazing, wasn't she?
She was very talented, a very fine, very mature, and a wonderful person. And one of the finest things that happened to me at that age. I got married very young, and life became quite difficult after that, as a matter of fact. Before that, I was only Raj Kapoor's brother and Prithviraj Kapoor's son. That's how I was known. And after marriage, I was known also as Geeta Bali's husband. So all this eventually became a challenge, I suppose, and sort of challenge that eggs you on to do something better, to be able to create your own identity, to be able to stand on your own, and have people equating with you. And there, Geeta played a very big part. A very big part.
और गीता बाली जी जब पंजाब गई फिल्म बनाने के लिए, आरो, I think that was the name. Rano was the name of the movie. I'm really sorry. जो बाद में फिल्म बनी, एक चादर मैली सी, बाद में हेमा मालिनी जी के साथ बनी. She actually died of smallpox.
Yes.
Which must have been awful for you, isn't it?
Oh, it's mind-blowing. It's a devastating experience, absolutely. I was doing Teesri Manzil at that time. I remember I'd gone to Moga. She was shooting for this picture.
Punjab mein Moga.
Yes.
Ji.
And she'd taken the children along with her, and this was December, and it was very, very cold. So I went there to see what was happening, and then I found them working in conditions which are... And I said, you can always come back later on. Why have to work in such weather? It's so cold and freezing out over here, and half of your staff is not well. So let's go back and we'll do it again. And she agreed to do that. That's why I brought them all back. This was December. In January, I was doing Teesri Manzil. I was shooting for Teesri Manzil, and I had just finished this number, Oh Hasina Zulfon Wali. With
Ji, Oh Hasina Zulfon Wali.
And I came home one evening, and she was unwell. She had a headache, she said. A splitting headache, and I had a little party at home that day. I cancelled the party, and within 2 days it developed into a high fever, and by the 4th or 5th day it was diagnosed as smallpox. I cancelled shooting, I stayed home. And this was 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. A week after that, 21st she died.
21st of January. 65, was it?
65.
Jesus. What did you do to get yourself together? What is it that you...
Nothing. I couldn't do anything. It broke me completely. I went berserk. I went haywire. Things went very bad for me. I had fever. I was drinking a lot day and night. I went away from here. I was staying at my brother's place for 3 months. It took me 3 months to...
You stayed with Rajji?
I stayed with Rajji. I must say, I was shooting for Nasser at that time when he broke up the set. And he kept the set standing and he waited. And all through that, Nasser has been a very good friend of mine. He was always very, very close to me. We had our successes together. Tum Sa Nahi Dekha, Dil De Ke Dekho. And this was the third movie I was doing with them. And it was all of them. They brought me back and they got me into circulation, and I started work again on the sets of Tisri Manzil again with that song Tumne Mujhe Dekha Hokar, that song, and I started shooting again. It took me 3 months.
Amazing. So Nasser Saheb actually kept the set standing. He didn't break them down. I mean, notwithstanding whatever it cost him.
Yes.
Amazing. And what about the kids? How did the kids take it?
My kids were with Bhabiji, my daughter, and my son was at the boarding, and we put him in Sanawar. He was in Sanawar.
Ji. St. John Sanawar.
So,
Ji.
that was a scene taken care of by my Bhabhi. She took over the children and looked after them.
Krishna ji?
Yes.
Ji. And who took care of you?
I came back after 3 months.
The entire family and everybody else?
Everyone. We were
rallied
very
around
much.
together?
We were very much a joint family. My father and mother was there. And after 3 years of persistent, you must get married and rehabilitate yourself and get yourself organized for your children's sake and all that. I did. I eventually got married again. That was in 69.
Oh, you got married in 69. I didn't know that. You got married in 69?
69.
Wonderful. And what did your wife, your present wife, Mrs. Neela Devi Shami Kapoor, think of you as a film star when you met her first?
You'd be surprised, my God. I've known Neela when she was a little girl of 9.
जब 9 साल की थी तब आप मिले?
Yes, 9-10 साल की. मैं पिताजी के साथ, पापा जी के साथ थिएटर के साथ गया था वहाँ भावनगर. I was performing on the stage there, and I was 19 and she was 9, and ये youngsters रॉयल फैमिली के साथ आया करते थे. तो इनके बड़े भाई साहब रघुवीर जी वगैरह, प्लस देन वीर जी, हिज हाइनेस महादेव भावनगर, उनके पिताजी. Used to sit out in front. और ये जो बच्चियाँ थी सब ये विंग्स में खड़ी होती थी और पिग टेल्स के साथ. I used to go and pull that pigtails, छप करके खड़े रहो यहाँ पर. I used to bully them like that. She never forgot that. And she remained. She still is a very big fan of mine. She कहीं भी अगर इत्तेफाक से जो हमारे न्यूज़ कहीं छप जाती है, अखबार वगैरह में आती है, तो she cuts it out, and I don't know what she does with it, but she's got a big stack of things. She lined it up, and she's always been a fan of mine. Then from Bhavnagar they shifted over to Bombay. They used to stay over here at Villa Parle, and I used to visit them. Both Geeta and I used to go to their house. So I've known the family for such a long time, and it was eventually after Geeta died, and one fine day Bhabiji. This is, I mean, very amusing now, but at that time I was pretty irked by it. मैं प्रमोद चक्रवर्ती की पिक्चर तुमसे अच्छा कौन है उसकी शूटिंग कर रहा था, और भाभी जी का फ़ोन आया कि आई हैव टू मीट यू, इट इज़ वेरी अर्जेंट. मैं शूटिंग कर रहा हूँ, लंच आवर में तुम आओ, मुझे सन एंड सन होटल जा रही हूँ मैं, कम एंड हैव लंच विथ मी देयर. चलो ओके, पता नहीं क्या बात है. सो आई वेंट देयर. माई सिस्टर, younger sister Umi, she and Bhabji were both there, and Bhabji इधर उधर कोने में देख के कुछ नहीं, कोई नहीं देख रहा, अपना बटुआ खोला, उसमें से एक तस्वीर निकाली और मुझे कही ये देख, तेरे लिए लड़की ढूंढी है मैंने, तो शादी करेगा इसके साथ. Because this is Neela, my God, what are you talking about? I know her since she was a kid. I know the family also. बस बड़ी अच्छी लड़की है. तुम्हें कहा ना मैंने, हमने देखा उस दिन, वो आई थी और तू उससे शादी करेगा. Just started off like that. I said, come on, you must be joking. No, we are serious. Give it a thought. Meet them now with this in view. And that's how we got together. And one fine day.
How did they manage to get you to say yes?
I don't know, it had to happen, I suppose. This is 26th of January, I had gone to the races. Then I'd gone to a poker table, a game with my friends. I finished off at about 9:30, 10 o'clock, came home, had my dinner, was in bed, and wondering, is this what life is all going to be about? यूं ही चलता रहेगा. काम करेंगे, रेस पे जाएंगे, शराब पिएंगे, और फिर उसी तन्हाई में वापस आएंगे. I asked my servant, वो भावनगर वाले मेम साहब आए थे यहाँ पे, वो फैमिली आई थी यहाँ पर, उनका कोई टेलीफोन नंबर है तुम्हारे पास? He said, हाँ जी साहब, नंबर है. Suppose if he had not had the number, if I didn't have the number, history would have been different. But he did have a number, and I rang up and I talked to her. I said, I want to talk to you. She said, 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. Ask your family, ask them. She asked her parents and said, yes, go ahead and talk to them. So I talked to her for a long, long time, about 4 or 5 hours. I proposed to her and I said, I want you to come tomorrow morning, bring your family with you, and stay for a lifetime here with me. I want you to marry me. And you mean it? I said, yes. And she says, I'll ask my parents. She asked, hold on. And she says, I'll be here. I said, come for lunch, bring them all here.
And stay for a lifetime.
Stay for a lifetime.
And she stayed for a lifetime.
Now she insists on a couple of more lifetimes. I rang up my father, I rang up my brother, I rang up Bhabiji. I said, I'm getting married tomorrow morning. Please come. So Bhabiji ne मेरे पापा जी को फ़ोन किया, चाय जी को फ़ोन किया, राजी को उठाया कि उल्लू क्या कर रहा है, तो कुछ भी हो, इसने कहा कि शादी कर रहा तो करेगा. We better be there. At 11 o'clock they all turned up over here. So did they. We had lunch. At 2:30 I got married here.
Right here in this house?
Right here in this house.
In this house at Malabar Hill you got married?
पंडित को बुलाया यहाँ पे 4 फेरे किए शादी. It's got to happen. It's got to happen.
Wonderful, and the way you're saying it clearly shows you're so happy.
I am.
Wonderful, but and in the meantime, your film career was still going on. You were still acting. You were still producing hit after hit after hit, and
I wouldn't say that. I'd say no. I was practically on my last legs. My legs were giving way. I'd broken my legs so many times. My cartilages on both my knees had gone off, and every time a cartilage broke off, I was in bed for 3 months, and I put on weight. So I was putting on weight. So eventually the story was that I couldn't possibly keep on doing the same stuff over and over again. Couldn't yahoo all the time, and my body was not giving me
enough support.
Yes.
That's because you jumped from all sorts of places. You actually jumped into what was supposed to be a pond and you landed on a flat stone and everything broke up.
You do those things yourself and you're apt to get hurt, yes. I did, and I didn't take care. I should have, but in those days the scene was quite different. You didn't go off to Switzerland and say, I'm going to get myself operated and take 6 months off from films. No, it didn't work that way. It's when you're not even well, you're still shooting. There are a couple of times that I was shooting with a broken bone, and I had to do it. So things got bad, they got very bad. So eventually, by 71, I closed shop. I didn't do any more movies. I looked after my parents. Raji was very busy at that time. He had just got over the shock of Mera Naam Joker.
Gee.
And he was making Bobby. Shashi Kapoor was very busy. He had reached stardom. He was doing multiple movies at the same time.
And Shashi was at that time considered the most good-looking man in the country.
He was, yes, indeed. So I took it upon myself to look after my parents. And I did. I stayed practically every evening I should spend with my parents. And in 1972, in May 29th, my father died. June 14th, my mother died. And I resurrected myself again after that and came in as a character actor and a director. I did Manoranjan.
Ji,
Irmaladus. I liked Irmaladus immensely when I first saw it in 63, 64 as a film. In 61 I saw it as a play in London, long time back. And I liked the idea that this picture was banned when it first came to India.
That's right. It's not Shirley MacLaine.
Shirley MacLaine and Jack Lemmon.
And
Jack Lemmon. And Geeta wanted me to do the Jack Lemmon role when it first came in. This comedy was superb, but and eventually that whole picture came back in my lap and I had to direct.
And it was a big hit. It was a monster hit. It was an amazing movie. It was. I still remember.
Manoranjan was not a monster hit.
All of us kids wanted to go see the movie, even though it was an adult film. And we smuggled ourselves into the theatre and we saw it. And there was this lovely scene of Zeenathaman. All of us used to wait for it. How did you get her to do it, by the way? It was wonderful.
No, because she knew the picture, she knew the role, and she was well suited for it. She did a very good job of it, as a matter of fact.
And Sanjeev Kumar also acted.
He was brilliant. I think he was brilliant. He had a very uncanny sense of humor, and his comedy sense was just superb.
और वो गाना जो था उसमें खोया के
चुनाचे. There are a lot of people who didn't understand what it was all about.
That's right. लेकिन उसके बाद आपने कोई फिल्म डायरेक्ट नहीं करी?
शौक पूरा हो गया. I wanted to direct a movie. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. Even I made a picture called Bundlebaz after that, which was meant for children, but children never got to see it. But I enjoyed doing that also, and शौक पूरा हो गया. Then I stuck to doing character roles and some very good. I got some very good roles also.
You even won an award afterwards, I remember.
I got for Vidhatha, yes.
That's right.
I enjoyed Vidhatha immensely.
And you with your beard and all that.
Here's my beard.
So why did you decide to grow a beard and then decided to shave it off?
Well, I grew a beard, I suppose, when my parents were not well and I was looking after them, and I suppose it was to get myself something different. And my mother always used to say, "Oh, Pada, inna changi shakal hai, oh, tu kyun daadi wadi rakhi hai? Kyun kharab kar rahe hai?" And my father used to protect me, says, "एक नया character grow हो रहा है, कोई नई सूरत इख्तियार कर रहा है." I think they're both right. And I was trying to possibly hide myself, or maybe really get a new character out. So that's how I grew a beard. I never shaved after that. And I shaved off my beard, but not out of choice. I was in hospital, I was unwell, and they cut me up over here and they put me on the tube and they had to shave me. When I woke up one fine day, I found no beard. It was gone.
So you find yourself looking at a new you.
Yeah, I found it sometime recognizing myself, yes. It's again the same old chap.
You never thought of producing a film yourself?
I never had the manpower to do something like that. I was very alone in this. And इसलिए कभी उस तरफ देखा ही नहीं.
What was it like being a Kapoor here in Bombay, in Mumbai? You're royalty, you know that.
It has its advantages, definitely. You belong to the Kapoor.
Bollywood means Kapoors. Kapoors are royalty in Bollywood.
Used to be, at least. Yes, it was big, very big.
And now there are only girls.
And they're doing a good job of it.
The boys have all dried up. Why is that? How come?
कुछ घोड़े होते हैं जो 5 फरलों की रेस जीतते हैं, कुछ होते हैं जाके डार्बी भी जीतते हैं. Some horses are meant only for that distance, short distance runners. I suppose it was one of those things. Raji played a very big innings as long as he could. As a matter of fact, like till his dying days, man was making movies, and receiving awards.
And he was working for Hina.
He was working on Hina. He recorded songs for Hina.
जी. और दादा साहब फाल्के अवार्ड मिलने के एकदम बाद ही
because that is very
जी दिल्ली में ऑल इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मेडिकल साइंसेज में उनको एडमिट किया गया.
That's right.
And he was a huge influence in your life, wasn't he?
Absolutely.
And I remember seeing you. Of course, you wouldn't remember. I remember you were coming out of the Raji's room and all Indian Institute of Medical Sciences, along with the then governor of Delhi, Mr. Kapoor. He was there, and you were there, and a couple of other people. And Randhir was with you. I think Dabu was with you. So it would be very silly of me to ask you, how did you feel at that time? Obviously, you must have felt whatever, but you still miss him.
We felt very helpless. We couldn't do anything for him. For a month I was there, as a matter of fact, my whole family, and we saw him in the ICU, and subah dekhen, sham ko dekhen, and absolutely that feeling of helplessness ke hum kuch bhi nahi kar sakte. And here is this brilliant man, he's going, and one fine day he went.
But that's also because, in spite of the doctor's advice, he just wouldn't, isn't it, in terms of emphysema of the lungs and all that. You know, you keep smoking and you keep drinking. That creates a major problem, I suppose.
Well, I suppose you said you pay for your sins and you're indulging yourself the way you were, but nevertheless, it's not a good way to go.
How would you like to go at the age of 120 when you do go?
Peacefully, and with a smile. I wouldn't want people to cry. Because you see, Raji in his last days, he could see us, but he couldn't communicate with us. And he knew that we were in tears, but he couldn't tell us anything about it. He couldn't express. So, for a month to lie in a condition like that,
everybody has a favorite Raj Kapoor film. Which one is yours?
I think Avara was brilliant. I think it's this Desh Mein Ganga Meri was, this Ram Teri Ganga Meri was brilliant.
Ji.
And I think Prem Rog was superb.
Prem Rog?
Yes.
Sorry.
It was
Which starred you?
Yes, I mean, I was also in it, and it was a beautiful subject and very well made. Very well made picture.
जी. ऋषि भी थे उसमें, पद्मिनी कोल्हापुर थी, आप थे, और कुल खरबंदा जी भी थे.
Yes.
रजा मुराद भी थे उस फिल्म में. He was the villain, from whatever I remember. But very good film. In fact, it was started by somebody else. Raji was just producing.
He was the writer. Okay.
और फिर राजी ने खुद.
And then Raji took over the picture when he found that it was a little heavy, too heavy a subject for him to make. Very well made picture.
And that was you with your beard.
He had my beard.
And when do we get to see you without a beard on the big screen?
No, I don't think so. I think I will, and so has the public had enough of me and my beard, and I'm cool and relaxed and retired.
What about your own kids? They didn't come into film.
That's a pity. Yes, my son went off into import and export and some business, and at the moment now he's in Sharjah, Dubai, and doing some things. My daughter married a film family. She's Manmohan Desai's son, Ketan Desai's wife. My grandchildren are studying. My grandson is in Houston doing computer science. My grandchildren by my daughter, one is doing an MA. So it's a different world, and life continues.
And none of them want to get into films? None of them wants to get into
Apparently not. No. Whatever they do, I hope they're happy in it.
Now, since we really are approaching the last part of the interview, क्योंकि वक्त भी आपका भी हमने बहुत ले लिया है, do you have any regrets? Do you really regret something? कुछ करना था, कोई ख्वाहिश, कुछ जो या कुछ जो नहीं करना चाहिए था वो किया?
एक बात बहुत डेफिनेट है कि हमारे वक्त में, मेरे जिस वक्त की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, मेरे ज़माने में एटलीस्ट, if I could have been a little more organized, I could have done some more roles. Volume कुछ बढ़ जाता
जी
काम का. I could have done some better roles. Some which I missed out on, I may not have missed out on them. I could have done more. I could have done much more. That's one thing I basically think I missed out on. Also, if in the process I hurt people, I've always been very sorry about it, because in retrospect you do think about कि whose cons have you stepped on. ये हमारी जो फिल्म इंडस्ट्री है, we keep on stepping on each other's toes. You never know who you're going to hurt. If I did that, I felt very sorry about it.
Did you actually get the chance to apologize to someone? किसी से बाद में माफी मांगने का मौका आया कि यार ये इरादा तो नहीं था, लेकिन
I think I have. I think I have down the line met few people who I have really thought, sorry if I hurt you, I didn't mean to, and they've accepted it.
Can we talk a bit about your Guruji? Can we?
Yes.
Would you like to?
Yes, yes.
You were telling us that you met him here in Mumbai. मुंबई में आप मिले
जी.
और पहले आप उनसे मिलना भी नहीं चाहते थे, लेकिन फिर जाकर के मिले किसी भी तरीके से. And he had a major influence in your life. He still does. In fact, you're still wearing his mala. अभी तक आपने पहन रखी.
Yes.
How did you meet him?
Actually, my children, my wife, they all met him much earlier than me, and 72 में, and my wife and her family, they kept on insisting that भाई मिल तो लो, देखो बड़े अच्छे हैं, गुरुजी हैं, कुछ 300-400 साल उम्र लगती है उनकी, और हैबिट्स बिल्कुल जैसे, और शक्ल देखो बच्चों की तरह है, और
हैदर खान वाले.
हाँ, एब्सोल्युटली हेड़ा खान वाले बाबा. मैंने कहा आई डोंट बिलीव इन दिस होकस फोकस, तुम लोग उल्लू की तरह बैठे जमीन पे बैठे हुए ओम नमः शिवाय कर रहे हो, और आज आदमी चांद पे बैठा हुआ है, कहाँ तरक्की कर ली, टेक्नोलॉजी कहाँ पहुंची हुई है, और तुम लोग अभी तक यहाँ बैठे हुए. I never believed in all this. For 2 years I never did. I never got to meet him also. Then one fine day he was again in Bombay, and my wife said, please हमारे घर मेरे फादर के वहाँ विला पार्ले आ रहे हैं, प्लीज आप कोशिश कीजिए आज शाम को 4 बजे मीट हिम. I'd like you to meet him. Just दर्शन कर लो और कुछ नहीं. I'm not asking you to do anything. मैंने कहा भाई मेरी शूटिंग है, मैं परवरिश की शूटिंग कर रहा हूँ, वहाँ अमिताभ जी भी घर पे वहाँ सेट पे हैं, और मनमोहन देसाई की पिक्चर है, और अमजद खान वगैरह, विनोद खन्ना, बहुत सारे लोग हैं. आई कांट पॉसिबली कैंसिल अ शूटिंग टू कम एंड मीट योर गुरुजी. आई टोल्ड हर ऑफ लाइक दैट. शी सेड जस्ट ट्राई, पूछने में क्या हर्ज है. आई सेड ओके. हम शूटिंग पे गए आउटडोर जी, वहाँ पर जाते मैंने मनमोहन से कहा भाई मेरी बीवी ने कहा कि ऐसे ऐसे उनके गुरुजी आ रहे हैं शाम को 4 बजे, इज इट पॉसिबल फॉर यू टू रिलीज मी. सर डोंट बी स्टूपिड यार, मेरी शूटिंग है, इतना बड़ा ये सब लोग है. आई सेड नो आई एम नॉट वेरी कीन अबाउट गोइंग. मेरा फर्ज और धर्म था कि आई आस्क यू अबाउट इट, आई आस्क्ड यू, यू सेड नो. खत्म हो गया भाई, मेरा फर्ज पूरा हो गया. आई टोल्ड माय वाइफ अकॉर्डिंगली. आई वाज वेरी हैप्पी. मैं जाना है. लंच ब्रेक किया, कुछ 2-3 बजे करीब मनमोहन देसाई कम्स टू मी एंड सेज, ये कौन से गुरुजी हैं तुम्हारे जो नीला वांट्स यू टू गो एंड मीट. आई सेड आई डोंट नो, है कोई गुरुजी? कहते कुछ बहुत ही कुछ बात होगी जो वो चाहती हैं कि तुम जाके उनसे मिलो. मैंने क्यों? कहते बिकॉज शूटिंग कैंसिल हो गई. मैंने कहा भाई, ही सेज माय मदर इन लॉ हैज बीन इन हॉस्पिटल फॉर द लास्ट 6 months. और बेचारी दुख और पीड़ित में थी वहाँ पर, एंड द ओनली way I could have cancelled shooting today was if she died. She's just kicked the bucket. So shooting pack up होगी, आप जाइए अपने गुरुजी से मिलिए. I was astounded, absolutely. और मैं कुछ आ रहा भी नहीं था. I had to go and do it. So I went and I met him. And when I went and met him, it seemed as if he was waiting for me. And I went. Shashtang. And I never looked back. It was wonderful.
And you spent 10 years almost at his ashram.
10 years. I
10
spent.
साल 10
Absolutely, absolutely. वही सब जो मैं कहता था लोग बेवकूफ़ हैं, गधे हैं, सब कुछ हैं, वो सब मैंने किया. स्टेशनों पे जाकर बैठकर, प्लेटफॉर्म पे, ज़मीन पर बैठकर ओम नमः शिवाय कर रहा हूँ. ये सब चीज़ें मैंने. ट्रेन चली जा रही है, मैं गधों की तरह भाग रहा हूँ उसके पीछे. जस्ट फॉर वन लास्ट लुक एट हिम. आई हैव डन ऑल दैट. एंड I have enjoyed every moment of my life with him. Every moment. वहाँ सुबह 4 बजे उठ के वो ठंडे पानी में नीचे स्नान करना, रोज शाम को फिर 4 बजे फिर जाना. I've been there at his ashram for days. In every weather I have there. And कोई रास्ता नहीं, वहाँ पे बिजली भी नहीं होती थी. अब तो खैर बिजली भी आ गई है. और 14-15 किलोमीटर घोड़े पे चला जाना है या पैदल चले जाना है या फिर दूसरा रास्ता उखलडूंगा से ऊपर नीचे जाकर. My God, and I did that, and I enjoyed every moment of it. And he's still with me. He's no more there in his physical form, but he's still with me, and whatever I am today, it's because of him. And I'm happy. It's possible. It is possible.
You are happy totally, or are you happy because you met your Baba?
I'm happy totally. Absolutely. But he made it possible. Because I met him, would have been a full stop there. No. I met him and then life continued. And he's gone away. But he showed me a path. He showed me a rasta dikhaya. And I continue on that path and life is beautiful.
Is there one particular role that you've always wanted to do? Say from a Hollywood film. Say you wanted to be Clark Gable for a short while, or Leslie Howard for a short while, or Gary Cooper. Is there one that you thought you could do and do better?
Let's be honest about this. I've never had any aspirations at being a great actor. Big performance दे दी साहब, क्या बात है. Yes, he's done a great number. He did a very beautiful song. बड़ी अच्छी beat पे क्या moment दिए. Yes, that I was happy with because I did it. I owned up to it and I could do it. तो इसलिए कोई ऐसा रोल की तलाश, कोई कैरेक्टर या aspiring to be Clark Gable or James Dean, नहीं.
All right, Fred Astaire.
A wonderful dancer. Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly.
That's right.
Great.
Singing in the Rain. What a movie.
Singing in the Rain. Oh, superb. Superb.
But on
आजकल नहीं बनती हैं ऐसे पिक्चरें. Even Hollywood can't make them.
जी.
It's a pity, isn't it?
Well, on this journey of yours, you met so many directors. You met people from all over the world. और अभी भी हम अपने दर्शकों की जानकारी के लिए बता दें कि साहब की स्टडी में हमने एक बहुत ही खूबसूरत इलस्ट्रेशन देखी जो कि सरगी बोंदारचुक ने बनाई. रशियन डायरेक्टर, started off as a Soviet director, finally ended up making movies in Hollywood. Has there been anybody really who's impressed you completely and totally? Somebody who's you say यार बड़ा पढ़ा लिखा आदमी मिला है कोई, मजा आ गया मिलके.
In India,
हिंदुस्तान में या बाहर पूरी दुनिया में कहीं पर भी
बहुत सारे लोग हैं,
जैसे
बड़े पढ़े लिखे लोग हैं.
पढ़े लिखे नहीं, जिसके साथ आदमी कहा यार ये इस आदमी से बात करके लुत्फ आ गया है कोई ऐसा शख्स?
बहुत सारे लोग. दिलीप साहब हैं, कितने अच्छे से बात करते हैं. प्राण जी हैं. You know, he may be looking like a villain to you, but he is a well-read man. पोइट्री का बड़ा शौक है, बड़ा रंगीन आदमी है, and wonderful person.
And it's his wedding anniversary coming up, right?
His wedding anniversary is day after tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
On the 18th.
On the 18th, yes. 60 years of married life. Wonderful. He's a wonderful man. But there are very many people I found, and I was very fortunate enough to be with them, who are well-read, tamiz hai, have a great sense of humor, which is important in life, and good conversationalists.
And among all the directors you worked with here in India, Hindustan में जितने आपके director रहे?
I enjoyed working with Nasir. I enjoyed one movie I made with Goldie. Shakti is a great friend and a good filmmaker. I enjoyed Professor. I enjoyed Brahmachari. Bappi was a good man. Subhash Ghai's Vidhata I enjoyed.
But it was a very good film.
Yes.
It was a very, very good film.
Subhash Ghai is a good filmmaker. Life has been nice.
And your own brother's films, of course. And what about Shashi's films? Shashi Kapoor also made some wonderful films.
He has made, oh my God, that 36 Chaurangilian was
That's right.
superb. Kalyug was
As a
nice.
producer.
As a producer, yes.
And Kalyug, of course.
Kalyug was wonderful.
Possibly a landmark in Indian cinema. Both 36 Chaurangilian and
Both
Kalyug.
brilliant movies, yes.
You have always been an outdoors man. You've always gone on the great outdoors. And you always shot outdoors, for that matter. You know, जब भी शम्मी कपूर की फिल्म की बात आती है तो एकदम, you know, beautiful valleys, lovely mountains, chai ke bagan. Do you still do that? Do you still go out a lot, or you're out?
It's been ages since I've been to Kashmir. I'd love to go back. You know, while बाहर हाँ, all over हो चुके हैं, लेकिन I miss Srinagar, yes.
And traveling in the Shikara.
Shikara and Usmag, my places, and there was one there, and people, nice people there. Nice. I had very good friends there. There was a time I used to shoot there for every weather. I was there.
Every film was being shot there in Kashmir at one time.
In the 60s, I spent a lot of time in Srinagar.
And Gulmarg and Pahalgam as well.
Yes.
We've seen you in Gulmarg, we've seen you in Pahalgam, we've seen you everywhere in Kashmir. And we've seen you playing golf, we've seen you playing cricket, we've seen you... Have you played Gulli Danda as well in a movie?
Yes. When I
You've
was
done
young.
that too?
Oh yes, Matunga and Abadubi, 7 tiles. Great days.
अभी माटुंगा जाते हैं कभी?
I have been, yes. There's a friend of mine from Islamabad in Pakistan who we grew up together, and then we were in school together. फिर Pakistan बन गया, and he and his family left for Pakistan. And after 50 years, I received an email from him saying, "Hey, I'm Afzal. Are you Shami Kapoor?" The same guy. After 50 years, it was the internet that brought us back together. And in one of his mails, he requested me, यार वो माटुंगा की गलियों की जरा फोटोग्राफ्स उतार के भेजना मुझे, बड़ी याद आती है. So I went back and I took pictures of wherever he stayed, where I stayed, where we played, the same old trees still against which we played cricket. So I got those snaps and I posted them to him.
But growing up would have been a great period, isn't it?
We had great fun. We enjoyed growing up. Where I stayed in Matunga, we had beautiful fields. There's Khalsa College field behind there, there's Vijay TI behind that side, custom quarters, and there wasn't much traffic in those days. There were only 2 cars in the whole lane. One belonged to Sehgal Saheb, one belonged to my father.
Sehgal Saheb is in KL Sehgal Saheb.
KL Sehgal Saheb.
He and his brother used to stay there.
They both used to stay there.
In Matunga. And there were lots of other people also who stayed
Oh
in
yes,
Matunga.
it used to be called the Hollywood Lane, as a matter of fact, in those days. Because when my father migrated from Calcutta and came over here, the whole lot came over with him, and they all were staying in Matunga, in the same place. There was Jairaj Saab, there was Madan Puri, Amrish Puri's eldest brother Chaman Puri,
Ji.
and Bismil Saheb, and Jain Sahab, Amjad Khan's father.
Ji, Jain Saheb, Zakaria Saheb.
Yes, Zakaria Sahab. He was there, and Trilok Kapoor, and Manmohan Krishnan, Sehgal Sahab, and Mr. J.K. Nanda, director, Jagdish Sethi, actor, a lot of people.
So it was like
Anil Bishwas, music director, Asha Lata. Oh yes.
it was like a small, little, very creative and very fun-loving community that was all together.
Yes.
And I think even Sitara Devi also stayed there?
She stayed there for a little while. Yes. I remember I broke my hand skating on the ring, and she came down from the flat and carried me up like this. Yes, Sitara Devi.
But that's what you've always done, isn't it? Sometimes you broke your hand, sometimes your heel, sometimes your... You're very accident-prone. Isn't that right? Your first drive in a car was when you didn't know how to drive.
No, I knew how to drive, but I had a lot of accidents. Yes.
Isn't it true that you decided to take out somebody's car with the door open?
Oh my God! Yes, I did, and then we got a walloping for it. But that was good fun.
So, how many accidents have you had up till now?
Oh, lovely. I've had a lot of accidents, especially my big one was when my Jeep went through a bus and I flew through the windscreen. And all this is plastic surgery on my forehead.
Your Jeep went through a bus?
Yes.
Which was the Jeep, Yahoo or Dinky?
My Yahoo.
Your Yahoo went through a bus?
I was early morning, 5 o'clock, I was going back from shooting. I was on the right road. The bus thought he was on the right road. There was no traffic. Chembur, Naka, like this. I went right into the middle of it. I flew through my windscreen, landed on the bonnet. I was okay. I waited, rang up my wife. She came over, picked me up, went to the hospital, got myself stitched.
How was the bus after that?
Big hole in it.
Right, that's what I thought. I thought the bus would have had the worst of it, considering on the other side there was you.
Oh my God.
Most of the time, considering the fact that you've had such a great sense of fun, such a great sense of life, obviously, have you had any other such clashes, apart from the one with the bus?
Oh, plenty. But nevertheless,
And
life has been beautiful.
And you left holes in everybody?
No, this is wonderful.
आपके बारे में सर ये कहा जाता था कि जब आप फिल्म्स में आए थे आप इतने दुबले पतले थे कि
I used to drink beer to get fat. Madhubala was my heroine. And she would say, Thoda sa, you must put on a little bit of weight. 10 years later, she says, you should reduce now.
You didn't tell her it's too late.
Very fine person.
So why, I know this is an embarrassing question perhaps, but maybe you would like to talk about it. Why did you put on so much weight? It was because it was your accidents? You got laid up for such a long time?
I got laid up for a long time. That was basically one of the reasons. दूसरा ये कि शौक थे, खाने पीने के शौक थे.
And also because
और exercise खत्म हो गई थी. Because of I was so incapacitated by my accidents that I couldn't indulge in any exercises. I stopped even playing golf eventually because of my gout. So वो भी जब खत्म हो गया, then I closed shop. ये अब too much हो गया.
लेकिन काफी लोगों ने आकर के मैंने ये सुना है, please correct me if I'm wrong, is it also because a lot of people were telling you that you must do something about yourself, come on, you are the Shammi Kapoor, and this was also a reaction on your part to say, go to the devil, I'll do whatever I want to?
No, I don't think. As I said, there was no damage control, which was very necessary. Somebody to be able to pull you up and correct you.
You didn't have a manager, so to speak?
I never had anybody. There was no manager, no secretary, no one to tell me. हमारे यहाँ उस ज़माने में बहुत कम लोग थे ऐसे जिनके affairs were managed by other people. We are one-to-one level things.
In fact, you were just telling me you didn't even have a secretary when you started.
I didn't even have contracts.
ज़बान पे सब.
ज़बान बात कर दी खत्म हो गई बात. The rest was for income tax purposes.
And at the moment, the way the films are being done now the business has become a business.
Oh yes. It's big, very big business, and this is one of the big improvements in things that are happening in the present environment is there are a lot of controls, very organized. And that's why you see a lot of actors today, they're very dedicated in their work. They're very focused because बाकी के झमेले are looked after by other people.
That's right. देखिए अमित जी को देखें अभी तक.
It's growing. He's doing a fabulous job of it.
And he goes every year.
And his pictures, his performance in black was out of this world. I mean, he's setting up such high levels for himself. He'll find it very difficult to get roles.
And what about the new lot that you?
They're very, very fine boys.
Shah Rukh and Amir and
Shah Rukh
Sanjay
is
Dutt.
brilliant. Shah Rukh is brilliant. Amir is brilliant. Salman is doing such a fine job for such a long time now. keeps on removing his shirts too. But he's doing a very fine job. They're all very good. Sanjay, there's MBBS, was superb.
Munna Bhai MBBS.
Yes, superb.
And that's our making a cameo appearance. Sunil Dutt coming
Yeah, he was very good. He was very good.
Isn't that a big loss to the film industry? He went off, joined politics.
By choice.
Maybe he should have remained in the film industry. That would have been nicer.
If I felt more comfortable there, he wanted to do something better and bigger there, and he's doing a very good job of it.
You never thought of standing for election. कभी सोचा नहीं कि भाई चुनाव में खड़े होते हैं और
अरे छोटी सी जिंदगी चार दीवारी में अच्छी है.
शमी कपूर साहब बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका हमसे बातचीत करने के लिए.
My pleasure.
It was a real pleasure talking to you.
Thank
And thank you so much for displaying so much of patience. Thank you so much. And again, we apologize for the fact that we turned your house upside down, but we promise to put it back together again. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Real pleasure.